I, 29F, broke up with my BF, 26M, a few months ago. This is going to be a long post, but I feel very lost lately, and I think a lot of informations are needed to understand everyone's point of view. First of all, my ex, let's call him Frank, and I are French, and we were together for 5 years when I broke up. While we were together, we went through a lot of tough events. His family was a mess, respectfully. His mother was very depressed and living with an abuser. She was illegally living in her ex-husband's, ex's dad, apartment because she had nowhere to go and was trying to end her life at least every month. His father tried to make her leave, but since they couldn't peacefully talk, it turned into arguments, and he decided to go through legal actions to get her out because he was paying late fees every 2 months for ex's mom and her abuser, which had terrible repercussions on his own relationship to his GF. That was the situation when I met them. My ex was very confused and worried, so I decided to dollar tap up. I took matter in hands and got his mother out of the cursed apartment and found her a place to live. I got her a monthly income through state help and helped to sell the apartment for the father. It helped me build an amazing relationship to them, and my BF was kind of grateful. Sadly, his mother got cancer, and when it was his turn to be there for her, he just played dead. He waited for me to take it on me again. Unluckily, my father had a bad heart attack, and I was already burnt out. I'm the oldest of 3, and I had to carry the situation for my family, while my ex didn't dollar tapped up even once. He even blamed me once while I was at the hospital holding my father's hand, because I didn't do grocery shopping. I had to keep going for months, burnout, basically not sleeping and barely eating. He lost his job at the beginning of next year, not so long later, and just fell apart. He cried for days, never did any research, played video games, and complained. He never planned any visit to his sick mom or to his sick grandmother, and even complained when I told him to go when I was at work, so I wouldn't have to drive him. It was honestly draining. I kept finding excuses for him, but he was more and more aggressive and rude, and started to blame me for my actual disinterest. It was like his whole attitude was legit in his mind because I couldn't have sex with him. He did put a lot of pressure on me about it, was very hurtful and rude. That was last year. I helped him find another job, with his best friend help. Let's call her Clara. Clara is a good friend, and she helped me a lot while he was horrible. She kept telling him he should treat me better, but he never listened. Played victim because his life was miserable, and he felt very depressed. Started to claim that he was autistic, I am ADHD, too, which made his life a lot harder. Clara went through a rough breakup, and we planned holidays for and with her so she wouldn't be too sad, except it was terrible. I love her and I enjoyed time with her, but Frank was awful. He didn't want to listen to her complaints and ignored us and our desires for the program. He wanted to go drink with his cousin every night and even had a very hard party the night before we were supposed to leave, forcing me to drive with his car. I never drove it in unknown roads, after I had basically no sleep. He promised to be reliable, but never held on to that. It was a turning point to me. He promised it was supposed to be a moment for me too, to thank me for the efforts I did put in our relationship, and it turned out to be about him again and again. I considered leaving for a long time, but decided to stay. We had arguments, very rough ones, because he always said he wanted to marry me, have a house, have children, but he never actually put effort in it. At the beginning of this year, I got very sick, and the doctors suspected I had brain damages. He still didn't dollar tapped up. Actually, he lost his job again, and tried to leave it to me to find him another job. Once again, Clara stepped up because he couldn't. He found a job at our local grocery store. We live in a village. Everyone knows everyone, and it's okay with me. However, he worked there for months, and everything was okay. I was slowly losing myself, but I guess that wasn't his problem. I had serious health problems and started to suspect it was due to high blood pressure. Almost got in a car crash and realized, while my car was blocked and towed, that the only thing I was thinking when caught in the crash was it wouldn't be too bad if I died. Frank was rude to my mother not too long after, and it got us in a huge argument. It's useful to precise that I was having coffee at his dad's, his mom's, or his grand's at least once a week at this point. Spending my time between his family and mine, and the rest trying to take care of my apartment that he never felt the need to help with. I was tired all the time, sometimes so much I wouldn't even find the energy to get up. My friends were very worried, and Clara was driving me to the hospital so I could take my exams. Frank was working a lot, but he seemed to enjoy it. Despite my work being almost an hour away and his 5 minutes away, he refused to move because he wanted to stay close. One day, he went to work and came back almost 3 hours after. He was ashamed and crying and moaning, and after a lot of talking, he admitted he had been fired because he saw a beautiful customer in the shop and took a picture under her skirt. He said he was fired and that the girl was holding charges. I snapped. I didn't yell nor hit. I just decided it was over. I took a bag and left. I told him we were done. The breakup was awful. The apartment belongs to me, and I told him to leave. I pushed him to join his cousin who's living in Australia, and he did. He pressured me, harassed me. He was rude and tried to make everybody think I was cheating on him. He tried to negotiate over furnitures he wouldn't even take on his trip and never paid for. He was awful, and I was scared and shocked, so I allowed it. I didn't tell anyone about the real reasons of the breakup, and he painted me as the bad guy. I didn't answer any of his family's texts, even when his mother cried over the phone and threatened to end herself. Even when his gran cried that she lost her grandson because he was in another country. That's where I might be the asshole. I abandoned them. I have all his mother's accounts, and I'm not sure she'd be able to actually keep her situation going without me. I took care of his brother, and it's the same for him. His gran never hurt me, but I didn't answer. I was just overwhelmed and exhausted. He called me and yelled at me because a few friends heard about why we broke up. Some of them from me, some of them from rumors, because that's how villages work. Clara heard about it, and we became a lot closer. He got crazy about me getting closer to some of our friends he was always jealous about. His reasons aren't unreasonable, I guess. He's worried for his family, and especially his mother. And he thinks I'm taking away his friends. I can understand. But from my point of view, he's very obviously responsible for what happened to him, and I won't be blamed for bringing to him the consequences of his own actions. Ada? I'm sorry if things aren't exactly clear, and will answer questions. As said in the beginning, I'm French, so I'm also sorry if there are some typos or weird sentences. Take care, Cassie.